going to play some more jams on the Maschine Plus in a second, but first, let's talk about it, because I've got some first impressions. First of all, I do want to mention that the unit that I'm using was sent over as a loaner unit, courtesy of Zounds, so thank you so much to them for hooking me up with this. I'm going to be working with them more in the future to try out a lot more gear than I otherwise would have been able to, all building up to the second chapter of my quest for the best groove box. So for that reason, I shouldn't buy this right now, and you probably shouldn't either, but I am sorely tempted. It's got some stuff working against it, like first of all, this thing is gigantic and therefore really not all that portable. It's heavy, it won't even fit in my backpack. As other people have mentioned, it can't tweak the onboard synths super in depth, and it is incredibly expensive. But holy hell is this thing powerful. I mentioned just a second ago that the size works against it in terms of portability, but it definitely adds to it in terms of being an entire studio in a box. Like, this goes beyond DAW in a box. Given the size, the inputs, the capabilities, this thing is an entire studio. And this thing is absolutely packed with sonic capabilities. It, of course, has the synth engines built into it, like FM8, Massive, and Monarch. It's got a ton of sample flipping ability and Maschine's very famous sample flipping workflow. And of course, it's got the Maschine packs that you load on, which I find incredibly inspiring, although the quality of them does tend to fluctuate a little bit. And you can tweak more than you might think, especially when it comes to effects. The mixing on this thing is incredible, and it gives you a lot of effects that really bring the sounds in this thing to life, including your standard compression. You can do sidechain compression, EQs, reverbs, all that normal kind of stuff, and then stuff that can get a little more experimental, like grain delays, which I find myself using a ton. And all of this on a surprisingly hands-on device. One of my big concerns going into this was that I would spend all my time staring at the screen and it would be too DAW-like an experience, and it wouldn't be all that hands-on, and it would kind of defeat the purpose of being DAW-less. I can happily say that is not the case. It took me a second to get my head around what all the buttons do and how to navigate the screen efficiently, but once I did, it kind of just disappears into the music-making process. Like, in terms of tech, this thing is basically a laptop, but it is a very different experience working on this than on a laptop, which I'm really happy about. The jamming is kind of set up like the Roland MC101, where it's got kind of mega clips with little patterns inside of them. I don't know how good it's going to be for live jamming, to be completely honest, but I will explore that more as I get used to it. I'm going to be doing a full, much more in-depth review of this once I get to know it a bit better and spend more time with it, so if you've got any questions for that, be sure to leave them in the comments below. But in the meantime, here's my initial impression. Because of the build, the sonic capabilities, and the workflow, this is a premium beat-making experience. You don't need it, and most people probably shouldn't buy it given the price, but this thing is really cool. So without any further ado, here are some more jams with it, and I'll be back with a new video in a little bit.